Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, extensive exchange of fire took place since yesterday evening, with Islamists launching more than 60 rockets from the Gaza Strip towards Israel's southern communities, while Israel conducted dozens of airstrikes against Hamas military targets across the Palestinian enclave. In a historic act of staunch support, President Donald Trump signed a presidential proclamation formally recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Syrian Foreign Minister condemned the U.S. recognition of Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights and claimed that it does not change the fact that the territory is occupied by the Jewish state. Palestinian Islamists have launched since yesterday evening more than 60 rockets from the Gaza Strip towards Israel's southern communities. The first barrage of rockets came amid a wide-scale Israeli bombardment across the Hamas-controlled enclave, which the IDF referred to as a retaliation to Monday morning's rocket fire on central Israel that hit a residential structure, injuring 7 civilians. The IDF said it responded to the heinous Palestinian attack by targeting a number of Hamas military compounds in the neighborhoods of El Sheheti, Beit Hanun, Sajaiya, and additional locations throughout the Gaza Strip. The IDF also hit the office of Hamas chairman Ismail Haniyeh in the Gaza neighborhood of Rimal. Furthermore, the IDF destroyed the Hamas headquarters in Sabra, the organization's interior security offices, and what it classified as a secret Hamas intelligence facility. While the Hamas leadership went into hiding prior to the Israeli strikes, its operatives sought to counter the Israeli attack with 2 separate barrages of intensive rocket fire. Despite the IDF's declared preparedness for the anticipated escalation, one residential structure in the southern Israeli city of Sderot sustained a direct hit. Thankfully, the rocket failed to explode, and the household residents were in a bomb shelter when the projectile penetrated their living room. Other than this incident, the IDF spokesperson's unit underscored that most incoming projectiles exploded in open areas, while the remainder were intercepted by the Iron Dome anti-rocket defense batteries. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu returned to Israel this afternoon and immediately upon landing traveled to the IDF headquarters in Tel Aviv for the purpose of conducting consultations with the top brass of the country's defense establishment. Before his departure, the Israeli leader emphasized that the upcoming national elections that are scheduled for the 9th of April will not affect Israel's security considerations. Netanyahu stressed that Jerusalem will deal with these issues and delivered a threat to the rulers of Gaza, saying, "We gave a very powerful response, and Hamas needs to know that we won't hesitate to go into Gaza and take any required steps." While Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu decided to cut his US trip short, his one-day visit produced significant fruit. In a historic act of staunch support, President Donald Trump signed a presidential proclamation formally recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. The American leader further stressed that a dramatic shift in Washington's policy will help Jerusalem defend itself against regional threats, such as Iran and its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah, including under any possible future peace agreement.
In a moment, I will sign a presidential proclamation recognizing Israel's sovereign right over the Golan Heights. The state of Israel took control of the Golan Heights in 1967 to safeguard its security from external threats. Today, aggressive action by Iran and terrorist groups in southern Syria, including Hezbollah, continue to make the Golan Heights a potential launching ground for attacks against Israel. Very violent attacks. Any possible future peace agreement must account for Israel's need to defend itself from Syria, Iran, and other regional threats.
With regard to the growing threat from the Islamic Republic of Iran, President Trump underscored that the United States would not let the Ayatollah regime even consider acting on its aspiration to annihilate the Jewish state and its people.
As I said during my State of the Union address, we will not avert our eyes from the dictatorship that chants death to America, death to Israel, and calls for genocide against the Jewish people. We won't let them even consider that.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, on his part, opened his remarks by thanking President Donald Trump for his consistent support for Israel's right to self-defense.
You have shown consistently incredible support for Israel, for our right to self-defense. When we exercise that self-defense, you have never flinched. You've always been there, including today, and I thank you. I have a simple message to Israel's enemies. We will do whatever we must do to defend our people and defend our state.
Netanyahu also hailed Trump's decision to officially recognize Israel's claim to sovereignty over the Golan Heights, a territory invaluable to Israel's security.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, this is truly a historic day. For 2 decades, from 1948 to 1967, Syria rained deadly fire from the Golan Heights on Israel's citizens below. A generation of Israeli children lived in constant danger. And then, in 2 glorious days, in June 1967, the brave soldiers of Israel scaled those daunting heights and liberated the Golan. In 1967, Israel seized the high ground, which has since proven invaluable to our defense. Because in 1973, Syria launched a surprise attack against Israel. And those same Golan Heights proved to enable us to absorb the initial attack. It was a horrific attack, and successfully counterattack the invading Syrian forces. Within 3 weeks, we were at the gates of Damascus. Outmanned, outgunned, our brave soldiers triumphed after one of the hardest fought tank battles in our history. But while Israel won those 2 wars, we would have to wait nearly half a century until this moment here in this room to translate our military victory into a diplomatic victory.
Meanwhile, in Damascus, the Syrian Foreign Minister condemned the U.S. recognition of Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, claiming that the American declaration does not change the fact that the territory is occupied by the Jewish state.
إطلاقاً لن يؤثر هذا القرار إلا على عزلة أمريكا، لكن في الجولان لن يستطيع أن يفعل شيئاً، فالأرض ملك لشعبها ولا يستطيع أحد مهما مرت السنوات أن يغير هذا الواقع بشيء.
Despite the reality in which Israel has controlled the Golan Heights for over 5 decades, the Damascus regime stresses that it remains Syrian land and that it maintains the right to use all means necessary to reclaim its lost territory. Thank you for joining us. You can also watch us at TV7israelnews.com or TV7.fi. For any updates from Israel and its region, visit our Facebook page or YouTube channel at TV7 Israel News. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Yair Pinto. Have a good evening, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.